Riots in the wake of former President Jacob Zuma's jailing. Let's start the bulletin this morning from other countries, as South African police on Monday, July 12, fired rubber bullets to disperse looters after days of riot in the wake of the former President Jacob Zuma's jailing. At the Jabulani Mall in Soweto, looters brazenly walked past TV cameras carrying armfuls of stolen goods. Police said disturbances had intensified and 219 people arrested as the controversial ex-leader challenged his 15-month prison term in the country's top court. Days of riot have left at least 6 people dead. The sporadic pro-Zuma protests that broke out when he handed himself over last week have quickly escalated into looting and arson, mainly in his home province of KwaZulu-Natal, but also in Kweten, where the biggest city, Johannesburg, is. Opportunistic criminals appear to be taking advantage of the anger some feel over Zuma's incarceration to steal and cause destruction, police in South Africa stated. Let's still stay in South Africa, as President Cyril Ramaphosa has stated that days of protest, looting and riot in the country could lead to food and medicine shortages in the next few weeks. He said the protest led to the cancellation of coronavirus vaccination efforts in some parts of the country and could lead to further disruption of the program just when the country was picking up the pace to inoculate its citizens.
Past few days and nights, there have been acts of public violence of a kind rarely seen in the history of our democracy. Property has been vandalized and destroyed. Shops have been looted. Law-abiding citizens have been threatened and intimidated. Workers are scared that they may not be able to return to work. People have died. At this hour, there are several families in our country that are in deep mourning. As I said, shops have been looted and infrastructure has been destroyed. This means that our sick cannot get medication from pharmacies. Food does not reach supermarket shelves, and health workers cannot go to work. We will soon be facing a huge risk of food insecurity and medication insecurity in a few weeks. Our vaccination program has been severely disrupted just as it is gaining momentum. Thanks to the work of our law enforcement agencies, 166 suspects have been arrested in KwaZulu-Natal and 323 suspects have been arrested in Gauteng in relation to these incidents. Some have characterized these actions as a form of political protest. This violence may indeed have its roots in the pronouncements and activities of individuals with a political purpose and in expressions of frustration and anger. At the beginning of this unrest, there may have been some people who sought to agitate for violence and disorder along ethnic lines. We know that the majority of our people have, out of principle, refused to be mobilized along these ethnic lines. However, what we are witnessing now are opportunistic acts of criminality, with groups of people instigating chaos merely as a cover for looting and theft. There is no grievance.
The stock markets are quiet, but in a good way. Robert Halver, the head of capital markets analysts at the private Barter Bank, said, saying the worries of last week, such as the concerns about interest rates, were gone, but markets were worried about the fallout from coronavirus measures surrounding the Delta variant. The pan-European stock 600 index slipped 0.1% after marginal opening gains. Banking, mining, travel and auto stocks fell between 0.4 and 1.2%, with investors unwinding bullish bets on the global economy as the Delta virus variant tears through large parts of Asia. Volatility picked up across global markets last week after US and China data raised fears that economic growth may have peaked, driving government bond prices higher and stocks lower. Meanwhile, European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde said the central bank will change its stance on the next policy steps at its next meeting to reflect its new strategy and show it is serious about reviving inflation. European Central Bank's new strategy allows it to tolerate inflation higher than its 2% goal, meant to reassure investors that policy won't be tightened prematurely.
You're still watching NEWSFLASH live on Metro TV Live on DSTV channel 277. We are back from the break with stories from the...
Bringing you Africa's creme de la creme's classiest hangouts, award shows, end-of-year parties, wedding, graduations, birthdays, fashion or corporate events. Metro Social has got you covered. We present bazaars with je ne sais quoi. Give us a call and we will be there.
Whilst at that, join us on Metro Social every Friday at 9:30 p.m. and a repeat on Saturdays and Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on Metro TV.
Welcome back. Now here in Ghana, Chief Justice Kwesi Eniniabua has referred a $5 million bribery allegation leveled against him by a lawyer to the Police Criminal Investigation Department for investigation. This was contained in a statement signed by the Judicial Secretary, Justice Cynthia Pamela Addo. There is more in the following desk report.
The lawyer, Akwesi Efrifa, who has fallen out with his client, claims his client told him the Chief Justice has requested a bribe of $5 million to tilt justice in his favor in his litigation case with Ghana Telecommunications Company. A statement from the Office of the Chief Justice, however, indicates that these allegations are false, adding that the Chief Justice, Justice Eniniabua, does not know the plaintiff and has not met or seen him anywhere except in the courtroom. The statement quizzed why the name of the Chief Justice should be dragged in the potentially criminal matter. The statement further emphasized that the Chief Justice has not demanded or received any money from any person to influence any decision in any trial. The statement stressed His Lordship the Chief Justice has directed that a formal complaint be made to the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service for further investigations. It further directed that a petition be lodged with the disciplinary committee of the General Legal Council in respect of these allegations. Meanwhile, the chief, Ojedum Obrano Kwesi Atta VI, has denied the claims of his former lawyer, saying he has never met the Chief Justice nor discussed any issue related to bribery with him.
Now, the Appointments Committee of Parliament has slated the vetting of Kisi Ejaben as Special Prosecutor for Thursday, July 22, 2021. This was contained in a press statement issued by the clerk to the Appointments Committee on Monday, July 12, 2021.
According to the press statement, the vetting will take place at the committee rooms 1, 2 and 3 of the new administration block of Parliament House at 10 a.m. The Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame nominated the law lecturer and private legal practitioner as a replacement for Martin Amidu, who resigned from the position in November 2020. Section 13(8) of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017 Act 959 requires the President to appoint a person qualified for appointment as Special Prosecutor within 6 months of the office becoming vacant. The Office of the Special Prosecutor has the mandate to investigate and prosecute all suspected corruption and corruption-related offences as pertaining to public officers, politically exposed persons, and persons in the private sector alleged to have been involved in any corruption or corruption-related offences. Apart from initiating investigations on its own, Act 959 gives the Office of the Special Prosecutor the power to receive and investigate complaints of alleged corruption from the public or investigate suspected corruption or corruption-related offences upon referral from public bodies such as the Attorney General's Department, the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ, and the Economic and Organized Crime Office, YOCO. Kisi Ejaben was called to the Ghana Bar in October 2003 and holds a Bachelor of Laws degree from the University of Ghana, as well as Master of Laws degrees from Schulich School of Law, Dalhousie University, Canada, and Cornell Law School, USA. He has since 2006 been teaching criminal law at the University of Ghana whilst engaging in private law practice.
So, Kisi Ejaben, if approved by the House, become the second special prosecutor the country will witness. Away from that, on to other issues where the We Power Authority reveals contractors working on its 250 megawatt solar power in the Banda district of the Bono region have completed the first phase project. Speaking at an inter-school challenge on renewable energy organized by the Energy Commission here in Accra, Director of Engineering Services at the authority, Engineer Kweku Saponakosa, said contractors are working around the clock to meet their deadlines for the second phase of the project.
The first phase, which is 50 megawatts, is already up and running. So currently speaking now, I haven't checked the data, but it's online and you can confirm from our great partners, Gridco, which is also helping improve the system in the north. The second phase, which is another 100 megawatts, is also, the contractor has started work already. And I'm sure in the next, within the contract timelines, that one too will be made available. Those are the current update on 250 megawatts. The 1 megawatt too, we're planning to expand it to 5 megawatt peak. We've taken time to procure the items to install in the reservoir, and once the item comes in, those ones will be laid to expand the 1 megawatt floating solar to 5 megawatts. We have 1 megawatt floating solar lying on the Bui Reservoir. That's the first of its kind in West Africa. And as such, such an invention is just for all, to even encourage them, for them to actually see that once they are interested in this and they kind of commit their time to it, they may also be in there working in authority to solve the problems that we are having. At the same time, our presence alone will provide a platform to mentor those people who are around. Kind of develop what we call the biogas system. We have a lot of waste problems in the country. So assuming schools like these, we have these biodigesters, and this biogas system, they can use that to produce energy to cook in their schools, whilst at the same time working on the waste that is a menace in the society.
Let's Let's now give you the biggest story for today, as the First Lady, Rebecca Akufo-Addo, has declined the offer for her to be paid allowances. According to a July 12 statement, she has also decided to refund all monies paid her as allowances from the date of the President's assumption of office, that is from January 17th to date, amounting to 899 million and over. There is more in the full report.
The First Lady of the Republic of Ghana, Ms. Rebecca Akufo-Addo, says she cannot accept a emolument approved for her by Parliament. She has thus decided to refund to the state all the monies paid to her since 2017, which amount to 899,097 Ghana cedis, 84 pesos. This was captured in a statement signed by Koko Blebo, Director of Communications at the Office of the First Lady. The statement said the First Lady, in consultation with the President of the Republic, has decided to refund all the monies paid to her as allowances from the date of the President's assumption of office, i.e. from January 2017 to date, amounting to 899,097 cedis, 84 pesos. The statement added the First Lady has decided not to accept any monies that have been allocated to be paid to her pursuant to the recommendation of the Ntiamwa Beidu Committee as approved by Parliament. She is doing this as a purely personal decision without prejudice to the rights of others and not to undermine the propriety of the process undertaken by Parliament. In the statement, Ms. Akufo-Addo's Director of Communications argued that the First Lady did not request to be paid any allowance and that she only received that which existed and attached to her status, albeit informally. According to the statement, the wife of the President took the decision because the discussions that greeted the announcement of the allowance payment have been laced with some extremely negative opinions, which she finds distasteful, as such commentaries only seek to portray her as a venal, self-seeking and self-centered woman who does not care about the plight of the ordinary Ghanaian.
We are now joined on phone by Dr. Kojo Pumpuni Asante. He's Director for Advocacy and Policy Engagement at the Ghana Center for Democratic Development. We want to probe further. What exactly does this mean? Now, Doctor, good morning and welcome. Now that the First Lady, Rebecca Akufo-Addo, has rejected these allowances and even paying back what she's been paid already from 2017, what does this mean for her, the government, and Ghana?
Well, thank you, and good morning to your viewers. Well, basically, I think this is the back of the public reaction to the decision that was made and the revelations that were made that, you know, the First Ladies and Second Ladies were being paid, you know, these emoluments. So I think that it is listening to the public reaction and doing, you know, the right thing. I think everybody has said that if there is a need to acknowledge certain ceremonial roles and functions that are performed by those two offices, then the proper thing must be done in terms of designating it as a public office, if that's what you know, the need is, and then you can, you know, properly allocate resources from the consolidated fund to finance it. So I think it is essential that, you know, we put the issue in perspective, that what has been done in the past, whatever the justification or whether it's on humanitarian grounds or whatever it is, has not been done properly. It was unconstitutional. And so also not to create a problem with the way the Article 71 process has been implemented in the past. It needed to be dealt with. So I think this is maybe a cleaner way of dealing with the problem, because some of us were wondering how Parliament, which is responsible for approving the emoluments of the executive, was going to walk back its approval of that process. So this probably then, you know, leaves it out of their hands. If it's an opportunity, as I said, for us to revisit the process and say, should these be designated as public offices? And if they're going to be designated as public offices, what are the responsibilities and the rights that would then accrue to individuals who occupy those offices? And we can look at examples across the world and be able to use legislation to properly set it up. So that could be a neater way to then move forward the process.
All right, now the second lady, Samira Bamia, has also issued a statement rejecting what is supposed to be given her and what has already been given her. But the National Democratic Congress, which happens to be the biggest opposition party here in Ghana, are saying that it's just a mere way for them to look good in the eyes of the public. What do you make of this as well?
Well, as I said it's a neater way to deal with the issue. So, I mean, I'm not privy to all the benefits and how the office is run and so on. But it is obvious that there are certain ceremonial functions that are performed, by first and second ladies. So the office itself is running its operation and so on. Obviously, will be covered under the allocation given to the government of the Office of Government Machinery. But you see, all these things have to be properly laid out so that you know whether that office is being audited. That office is subject to the same processes that any public office would undergo. So that anybody, and we are not just talking about the first ladies and the second ladies today. You're trying to create an institutional arrangement that reflects what is important for the public interest. So that if there's the next time a first lady and second lady come, they know, okay, these are your jobs, these are your public jobs, these are your private jobs, these are the emoluments that come with it, or the running of the office. There is audited accounts, there's the setup. Those are the things that for me are necessary in all this conversation. If we close the chapter because it's been rejected and everybody walks away, the next time this matter comes up, we're going back to whether or not we should be resourcing the office of the first lady or the second lady, and we go back to conversation without solving the problem. So that's, for me, I think it's an opportunity. This first step is probably a cleaner way of dealing with it. The issue is how you then proceed, to make sure that in the future, this is how we deal with first ladies and second ladies.
Now, Dr. Pompuni, these monies are very huge. I mean, the first lady alone is returning over 8 million Ghana cedi. One will ask, what can we do with these monies, as we are all yearning for infrastructures to be built and all that? What really can we use monies for?
Well, I guess that one is everybody else's suggestion. I'm not in a position to assess or determine how it's going to be using a consolidated fund. We are borrowing and doing other things, so I'm sure it will come in handy to support other development projects that currently undergoing. So I mean, as for those issues, that everybody else can suggest how that we should proceed. But I just want to reiterate that we will do ourselves a disservice if we don't use the opportunity to do, as I said, go forward and determine exactly how we want to treat the office of the first lady and the second lady.
Thank you for your time last here on NEWSFLASH. We are grateful.
You're welcome.
And so Dr. Kojo Pompuni is the director for the advocacy for and policy engagement at the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD Ghana, and the first lady returning over 800,000 Ghana cedi. So the second lady, Mrs. Samira Bamia, has also rejected the new emolument approved for her by Parliament and has also promised to refund all the monies paid her since 2017. This comes less than 24 hours after the First Lady, Rebecca Kufuor, gave up hers. Let's take a look at what she stated. And it reads, the Second Lady, Her Excellency Samira Bamia, in consultation with Her Excellency the Vice President, His Excellency, I beg your pardon, Talk of humanitarian works, we know that the First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo has been embarking on building of maternity wards for some persons across regions here in Ghana, and also Samuel Bawumia has also been doing some other humanitarian works here and there. But let's find out what Ghanaians are saying. Meanwhile, some Ghanaians have expressed their views on the rejection of refunding of allowances by the First and Second Ladies. Take a look at this.
If they are saying they will not take the allowance, I think it's a good idea. But if they are lying to us, that one there is not good.
I don't think it's important, because if Ghanaians has not added their voice to it, you ask yourself a question that would the First Lady come out to say she's refining the money or something like that. So I don't see anything important about all these things. So it's not good for the First Lady to come out at this moment and say that she's refining all the allowances being given to her as a First Lady. It's needless. Well, as at now, she is saying that she has issued a statement that she will be refining the money. She is saying it. So it's up to Ghanaians that we also keep our eyes watching whether the money will be refined. And for me, I don't know the account number, the account details the money will be refined into. So if the First Lady will come out openly or on national TV to show the amount to Ghanaians that this is the amount, this is the check, or this is the original note, I'm giving it back to Ghanaians. So that one will do. But for you to issue statement, I don't think the statement will bring the money back. So we just need Ghanaians to see the money on TV or the check on TV, so that it will give an evidence base that she has refunded the money, or she will publish it in the dailies, so that Ghanaians will know that the money is indeed has been refunded.
I think if they don't want it, I mean, we shouldn't force it for them. Because since they are refunding the money, then it seems it's not, I don't know if they're angry or it's something they don't want, or I don't know, but if they don't want it, I don't think we should be giving it to them.
Quite interesting views from a session of the Ghanaian populace. That's it for this flash at 11. Then it returns at 12 with more. I am Bright Nana Kosi. Good morning.